Gives my life a meaning till the day I die. Are you the one? Are you the
All right, we're going to leave it on.
When you look, what do you see? You only see the monkey, not the man in me. Well, now I'm back, and that's a fact. Proud to show the next generation where I'm at. What I mean is to say the way that I was is the same as I am today. Now if you white or if you black, remember you can't get the monkey off your back. And now you're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running from the monkey man. And now you're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running from the monkey man. I was lost and now found. Some might even.
All right, well, that was just a little bit too racist. The nerve of those folks. Running away from the monkey man. What did a monkey ever do to you, man? Just talking shit. It's been a long day. Bread came out great, by the way. So I decided I can have a beer. And the beer I'm going to have is from Dogfish-Head Brewery. It's their grand-cru red ale. Trying to think of the fella's name on Gab. Kim Jong-il's facelift or something. Good guy. He drank this a little while back and posted it up. He doesn't do reviews and stuff much. It's beer is the name of the Gab page. You're on Gab and you go to beer. It's all about beer. And he posted, he wasn't particularly impressed with this, if I remember correctly. Off-centered art series featuring Max Mann. Surgeon General's bullshit-ass warning. 7.2 is the ABV by volume. This is 12 fluid ounces. Malt beverage with natural flavors. All right, you know what? Let's go to their webpage because they have one. And they put information up. And I'm literally gobsmacked anymore that people don't, but most of them freaking don't. With more than 225 years of collective brewing experience, we've connected with our friends at Rodenbach yet again. A beer 2,800 nautical miles in the making, grand-cru is a liquid love letter that we floated across the Atlantic Ocean and back. Deep copper in color, grand-cru begins with Rodenbach's world-renowned grand-cru, a Flemish red-brown ale aged in oak casks that made the overseas trek from Belgium to Delaware via tanker ship. After its cross-Atlantic journey, Rodenbach's grand-cru was artfully blended with an off-centered red ale we infused with sumac and sweet orange peel. That was then dry-hopped with Hallertau Blanc hops. The resulting beer is full-bodied and slightly warming with aromas of candied citrus, cherry, caramel, and toffee, complemented by malty flavors of stewed fruits, plum, cherry, dried citrus, and toffee. I guess they got a lot of toffee going on here. As part of our 2022 off-centered art series, grand-cru boasts a bold packaging design by Max Mann. The artwork centers upon both brewers' logos, pulling in colors iconic for each brand. Forest green for Dogfish-Head, and crimson for Rodenbach. The label highlights a wooden foeder as a nod to Rodenbach's well-known foeder aging techniques, and sumac leaves to not only showcase an ingredient within the beer, but subtly reference Dogfish-Head's focus on brewing with real, high-quality culinary ingredients. I'm going to assume that's a foeder. I do not know. And those must be sumac leaves. That looks like poison sumac that you were not supposed to touch when I was a child growing up. But the hell do I know? Last time I checked, people still ate poisonous blowfish because it made their mouth numb. We have cocaine for that, folks. There's no reason to die. Sushi people, man. Sushi people. So, grand-cru is a kind of catch-all term. That head came down really, really nicely, and it was a really well done head. It graduated well, tight to loose. It was a really pretty thing. As craft brewing expanded over the last few decades, several wine terms have slowly seeped into the beer lexicon. Some of these terms are clear. Anyone can understand what a vintage beer might be, but some, such as grand-cru, are less so. Grand-cru is a French term that translates literally to great growth. The grand-cru classification has been used and regulated by the French since the 19th century to refer to vineyards that consistently produce superior tasting wines as a result of their excellent location or terroir. It's in frog, man. Maybe the Canada guys can clear that up for us, but not me. Terroir, terroir. I don't know. It is also used by those vineyards to label wines that they produce, and consumers have responded with high expectations of quality. The grand-cru label is also used by cognac producers as a term that has come to mean our very finest, just as the term vintage can be applied to a car. Beer producers have recently appropriated it. Grand-cru has appeared on beer labels since the late 1980s. The term is not regulated as it applies to beer. That is why this is a Crimson Cru, because I had no idea what the hell a cru was. So I went to look it up, and then I wanted to look up a glass to make sure I was drinking the beer out of the correct glass. Well, it's red ale. Red ales go in Irish pint glasses. As far as Crimson Cru and grand-cru and toodly-doodly-doo, well, it's all people who are just a little too impressed with themselves. And that's them, man. That ain't us. All right. We're 7.5 in. We got to get busy. It's Biden time, man. Let's get that sniffer up in there and see what we got going on. I'm expecting lots of toffee. Toffee. Nice. And citrus. More than toffee. That was also in there twice. So. All right. So, love Belgians. Belgians are great beers. Belgians have that very distinctive nose that people call banana clove, that I call fruitcakey. This does not have that, but it's not supposed to. Because while it's made in Belgium, it's not that Belgian style. That being said, it has a really, really distinctive nose, like not a Saison. There's a red farmhouse. I don't think it's Flemish. I think Flemish are painters. Or it's a district. Get into the Nef, though. It's a really odd, very small niche market in the beer community. That doesn't mean it's not delicious. If I remember correctly, the ones I've had are really, really good. Just don't remember what it is, but it's definitely not Flemish. Anyway, it's kind of what it smells like. Not Flemish, not farmhouse. So slightly sour, slightly tart. Steve from KC will probably pick it up. Steve, if you know what the hell I'm talking about, toss it down in the comments, please. I hate getting old, man. But it does smell nice, and it smells interesting. Now, I have no idea what sumac smells like, because, again, when I was a kid, they told you not to touch it. Sort of like poison ivy. Leaves a 3, leave them be, right? You get the candied, so there is a sweetness. So you get sweet, you get tart, you get a little sharpness, like a sour acidic note. Flambois? Maybe that's the word I'm thinking of. Old. And I've been working all day. The bread did come out good, though, I thought. Sometimes it's nice to eat. I haven't eaten carbs in forever. Sometimes it's nice to take a warm piece of bread and slap some butter on it and just chow down. Oh, so good. And not that $5 a loaf shit that comes out of the supermarket that even the bugs won't eat anymore. All right, so this smells really interesting and delicious. Again, you got candied, you got a sharp note in there, you got... Try it. You'll see, well, until I find out whether or not it's any good. The nose smells really interesting, so here's what it is. The hell did the French say? Or the Flemish? Or the Hollandasians? Okay. Roast. So, it's supposed to be a Christmas beer, which is why it's been sitting in my refrigerator, because I ran out of Christmas beer time. Plus, it doesn't actually say Christmas beer on it. I bought it because the color scheme was correct. Thinking about it, probably should have left it there. First impressions are important, right? That's why you should always look your best. That's why you should always be on your best behavior. At least around people you don't really know. First impression on this is, I don't like it. That sour note, I love sours. That's a sour note like the beer turned. Malty, right? So the sour on top of the malt, really not helping. As far as candied citrus and toffee, not really shining through. They're more or less, everything is being buried under that sour note and that malt note, neither of which is particularly pleasant or attractive. Now, I only have one of these. Oh, scusi. So, we are looking at one. Where is the date on here? There is no date as far as I can ascertain, so I cannot tell you whether or not this beer is out of code. But can tell you if this beer is in code and it tastes like this. There it is. I think you can read it though. Thanks, fellas. Not that if this beer was in code, would I ever recommend it to anybody. This is not a good beer. And I like Christmas beers, and I like spice beers, and I like sour beers, and I like a lot of different beer. But this ain't one of them. So, the fellow over on Mines, and I apologize because I can't, not Mines, Gab. And I apologize that I don't remember your handle. But he's a good guy, and we go back and forth all the time now. We talk beer all the time. He's a good guy. He's 100% right. This beer is horrible. Wow, this is bad. Verging on undrinkable. Now, that's my palate. You do you. The only thing that would have made this worse is burnt coffee. They should have burnt some coffee and tossed it in there too, because this is not a good beer. I might have a bad one. It's entirely possible. Like I said, sample size of 1. But it's enough of a sample size of 1 that I'm going to go with no. So we're going to give this beer taste bad. Color is nice. You got that brown copper color going on, so the SRM on this would have been 38.40. Yeah, no. I'll tell you how much I don't like this beer. 2 is how much I don't like this beer. So, will I drink this beer again? No. Do I want to taste this beer on tap? Maybe, just to confirm my suspicion that this is not a bad sample size of 1. Would I buy this beer again? Not in this lifetime. And if you handed this to me out of the cooler, what would I do? I would hand it back to you and say, hope you got something else in there. Not a good beer. Actually, I wouldn't do that, because if your host hands you a beer that they like, then you should probably talk to them a little and get some specs before you dive right in. I've run into this as I've bought really good beer for Christmas parties, only to find out people are like, "How come we don't have Bud Light here?" Remember, apparently I have a giant stick up my ass now, because I won't drink that shit, and it's my job to wake them up so they don't drink that shit too. Easier said than done. Alright, folks, thanks for coming by and put some eyeballs on here. You are my people, and I love you. What do I always want? I want for all of us, right? Get great, happy, healthy, safe. To get there, to save this planet, we need to be honorable, dutiful, and vigilant. It's crazy out there, man. So you need to be the other 3, which is gray man. Don't slow under the radar. Peacocks get plucked. Situational awareness. If your antenna's up and your eyes rotating around, remember, it's not just here. It's also in the digital space. There's a lot of crap going on, and you don't really have to look that hard to find it. Although, just remember, when everybody's crowing about the same subject, they're hiding something else from you. So always look at the man behind the curtain. And of course, hot and handy, because why the hell not if you can? We ain't Canada. Candied fruited? I mean, you could say fruited, but it's like candied fruited. No, this is like somebody emptied out like my grandmother's handbag and threw whatever shit for snacks she had in there in it. No, it's a bad beer. Thanks for trying, fellas, but no. All right, folks, I'll catch you on the next one. Till then, and I hate to do it with this, but this is what we got. Skol.